Hello, my name is Simon and welcome to AFC Bournemouth Analysis. And yeah, I know I've been missing a long time over the last couple of months, but I thought I'd put together a video to give my overall thoughts on the 2018-19 season for AFC Bournemouth. So yeah, I did this last season. I haven't got anybody else's contributions because I haven't. But yeah, overall season ranking, I'd give it 6 out of 10 or 3 out of 5 if you prefer to have it on a lower scale. It's very much a season that what could have been this one. I think of all the campaigns I've seen AFC Bournemouth in the Premier League, so 4, this is probably the most disappointing because we had an amazing start, 20 points from 10 games. We were 6th place, I think, for a fairly long time, so it wasn't just one of those ones where you win 4-0 on the opening day and suddenly you're at the top. And no, we were there for after a quarter of the season we were up there, and we'd had some good results, good performances even in defeats. We lost away at Chelsea, but we looked a pretty sharp counter-attacking side in that game, and yeah, we were just playing well. Wins at West Ham away, Fulham, Watford. These were big away wins, and it was just a really great start to the season. And then obviously after those first 10 games, the next 28 games we got 25 points. So in 3 times as many games we got a similar amount of points, which obviously isn't great. A lot of defeats in the terrible run of away form. I think it was it 10 away losses we lost in a row? I don't know why I'm asking a camera, but yes, it was several games away from home that we lost that we just shouldn't have lost. Yeah, it was just really disappointing the way the season ended up panning out, especially because I feel like 7th place, although you can obviously say European football, we're just not ready for it in terms of the size of the squad, but if it's there to go for, it's there to go for, and I feel like it really was there this season. Although Wolves are a very good side, impressive side for their first season in the from the Championship. I think next season's going to be even tougher to get that 7th spot. I think Leicester will be stronger with Rodgers. I think Watford will be stronger with Gracia, and I think Wolves will be stronger as well because they've got the investment. And then you've got Everton as well, who ended the season fairly well. Obviously it's Everton, so they probably never will get their acts together, but you never know. But yeah, I felt that this season was the one where we could sneak into that 7th spot like Burnley did the season before, but it just didn't pan out. We didn't even get close. And it's disappointing as well because I was looking through the results before this, and there's so many games where you think, oh yeah, we should have won that, and they just all added up, and we'd be a lot higher than we ended up. So yeah, I'd give it 6 out of 10 because even though obviously it's disappointing the way the season petered out, we did get a lot of injuries to key players. Fullbacks were a mess for a lot of the season. Steve Cook was out for a little bit near the end, but more significantly you had Wilson out for a significant period. You had Lewis Cook, who you thought this would be his big breakthrough season in the centre of midfield, and we've had to make do with players like Gosling who try hard but aren't really up to the challenge against teams in the top half and really even below that of the Premier League, especially playing in the 4-4-2 formation that Eddie Howe is just never going to change from, I don't think, despite the fact that it clearly doesn't work in so many games. But yes, so I give it 6 out of 10 overall. There was some great football in that first game. You saw some great players this season with Brooks coming through, Fraser his best ever season, Ake imperious again at the back. I say imperious, we conceded 70 goals, but he was often in many games seemingly our only person that could defend. You had Wilson scoring goals, you had even King chipping in with a lot and working hard in a lot of games, I think. So yeah, it was a season of many ups at the start and many downs. But yes, we've got to get our act together for the coming season. But I think if we manage to keep the team together, we have a chance of a good campaign. If not a chance of sneaking into 7th this time, we have a good chance of top half. But yeah, so my player of the season is, I've not hidden my love for him, Nathan Ake. I think, again, he had a really good season. Again, despite the fact that we conceded 70 goals, which is a ridiculous number, really. He was often our best defender. Many opposition fans say the same. And I think he was just the most consistent player. I think we had lots of good players this season. I think Ryan Fraser obviously had his best in terms of assists and goals, especially working with Callum Wilson, who also got 15 goals this season. I think Lerma was a very, very good acquisition and has given us a bit of steel in midfield, and opposition fans hate him, which is a bonus. And David Brooks, obviously, the talent that kid has is amazing, and hopefully we'll be able to see it blossom further in the coming season. And then he'll probably go if he has a good season, to be honest with you. But still, to see a player that clearly that naturally talented and gifted is a joy as a Bournemouth fan. So yeah, I'd say Nathan Ake is my player of the season. But I think, unlike the previous season where it was just obviously Ake, I think there's many other players that could I could understand why people would say they're player of the season. The best game. There were quite a few games at the start, but I think the one stands out the most, possibly because it was surrounded by absolute dirge, is the 4-0 win against Chelsea at home, where it was a strange match, I'm not going to lie. The first half, the whole game really, Chelsea had the ball, and then it just basically, the second half, we just got them on the break every single time. David Brooks magnificent in it, destroying David Luiz. But yeah, it was a strange game because it could have been so different. There was a chance right at the start which Boric tipped onto the bar, and if he hadn't saved that, then who knows how that game could have panned out. But in the end, it panned out with a 4-0 win. I don't think we're ever going to beat one of the big four or big six teams by that margin again by our time in this top division. So it was really a delight. It was a great night, and other than that, I think there was obviously our great run at the start of the season, and I think that Fulham away win, well, obviously Fulham were in a very bad state of affairs, but you know, we can lose to anyone away from home, really, away from home or at home, really, but especially away from home, we're a very soft touch. But we just turned up and we rolled them over 3-0, and it was just like so comfortable, and you're like, yes, finally, we're an established Premier League team, we can go to these newly promoted sides who've got a bit of vigour and spunk to them, and we can just swat them away. And unfortunately, that was the start. That was our last away win for several weeks, months even. And after that, it just all went downhill because the next away game was Newcastle away, where again we were the favourites before the match, but we just rolled over, and that happened repeatedly away from home, which I'll just get on to. I think there were countless gutless away performances, as I just mentioned. Cardiff, I was actually there, and it was just, you could tell the whole emotion of the day was just we weren't going to get anything from that game, but really we should have got a point, and that's something that frustrated me throughout this season. Actually, away from home, we could not battle out and grind out a point to save our lives. It was either a startling away win, 5-0, 4-0, 3-0, or we just didn't turn up and we just didn't grit out anything. It was only the Southampton game right at the end where I thought, well, at least you got a point. At least you didn't completely collapse. But yeah, the Cardiff game was, if you match them up, the players for player, we should have had more than enough to win that game. We should have drawn. I would have been happy with a draw beforehand, but they just didn't turn up, and it was just, you could tell it was going to happen, especially as it was just after the Chelsea 4-0 game. They just didn't turn up. But yeah, there were countless away games that we just looked like we were just turning up just to basically be the prey for the home team. Repeated games against the big teams, Man United and Spurs away games around Christmas time were just abysmal. The Spurs game was embarrassing, the way we collapsed in that game, and the Man U game, considering how poor they were defensively, the way we just rolled over and let our tummies be tickled was just something that will haunt my dreams for a while. But I'd say the game that really stuck in my head for I can't believe how bad we were was Burnley at home near the end. Obviously we're in a bad run of form, but our home form generally was good. We had only lost to the top 6 sides, then all of a sudden Burnley turn up with their team of bouncers and just didn't play us off the park, but they knew exactly what to do. But the worst thing was our team just looked like they just let them do it. They weren't putting any effort in. There was a moment where King just didn't run after a ball, just let it go, and it was just worrying seeing a team more hungry than us just completely outfight us. And coupled with a terrible goalkeeping display from Begovic, it was just a really bad day. And I think that epitomised our entire slump at the end of the season. Really, it was not good. But But yes, so that's my best game, my worst game, my player of the season, and my overall rating. Not a season to, get the fires burning, but it was, another season in the Premier League. It can't be underestimated how we're performing at this level, blah, 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 blah. But, with the money we've got behind us and the players we've got in the squad now, I'm not saying we have to push on, but next season it would be nice to see something like either having a proper go at the top 6 teams in a way that makes sense, not just attacking them pointlessly and getting turned over 5-0, 5-1, 4-1, but instead, actually causing them problems, especially at home, because we had a couple of games at home as well where we just didn't perform against the top teams, and even really, and away from home against any team, just a better away, just be a bit stronger away from home. If that means a more defensive outlook away from home and more attacking at home, then so be it. I think a formation change is probably long overdue, but we're probably not going to get that, are we? So, yeah. But yes, that's all really I had to say about the season. But yeah, thanks so much for watching and watching over the course of the season. I know I haven't posted every game for the last couple of months, and I am sorry about that. But next season I may be doing monthly reviews. I'll try and do a preview of the coming season. Maybe talk about a couple of the pre-season friendlies if I can get to them. But yes, I do appreciate you watching it, and let me know your thoughts on the season that we've just had. I'd really be interested to know them. Let me know in the comments section below. But there are also AFCB analysis accounts on Twitter and Facebook. The links are in the description below, and they're also here. So yeah, please do get involved. I'd love to hear from you. But yes, that's really all I had to say. I hope you enjoyed the season, AFC Bournemouth fans, and hopefully we'll have a great one next year. We've already signed a new player already out of the blue from Bristol City, so that's great. And hopefully we can get a couple more acquisitions over the line, namely a proper central midfielder would be nice, and then maybe a winger to replace Fraser if he departs. But yes, that's all I had to say. So yes, thanks so much for watching, and up the cherries in all departments.